Hello, welcome back to our weekly DarkScape Developer Q&A stream. I'm joined by Mods Connor again. He's been absent for the last good few weeks and
I was
stuff.
here last
It was
week.
last week, yeah.
Were you? Oh, I wasn't here.
Yeah.
Just me. Wait, no, I was here.
Was
2
it
weeks
the week
ago,
before
maybe.
that then? Yeah.
Time
Remember,
flies.
we
We're all
had
here
the
now
audio
anyway.
problems last week, and I
Yeah.
had the saw bands and looked stupid on YouTube. Mods KOZ.
Yep, that's right.
I've said it right. I always KOZ or something like that. Said it wrong.
More cheese.
One of the QA analysts on DarkScape, and the ever-present Mod Pi,
Hello.
gameplay programmer, who is very busy working away at our combat update. And I'm Mod Kelpie, if anyone cares. So this week, we haven't really got like a lot of stuff to talk about. It's mostly going to be answering you guys' questions. If you do have any questions, please ask in the chat. We'll try to pull them out and answer them. But we also obviously gathered a load previously. I want to touch on about this week's update though. So we updated the game on Monday.
Yep.
Fairly big thing was the removal of smuggling. That's the one.
Yeah, the removal of the 3 Gs and the 3 banks.
So merged the Gs into one, merged the 3 banks into one, therefore smuggling no longer a thing. I mean, I think it's gone all right. Yeah.
It's gone down pretty well. I haven't
Yeah.
seen much negative.
I think people were just getting annoyed and there wasn't any real incentive to go and kill someone on a smuggling run because
Well, you'd have to find them.
It become a chore. Like it was like, okay, I'm going to go play DarkScape, and first thing I want to do this. Oh wait, first of all, I need to spend half an hour getting all my items to this one bank, so that I can gear up to then go do that thing, and then I've got to bring those things back to complete it and stuff like that. I mean, there's some people who did like the smuggling and wish we didn't take it out. I sort of feel that way in a way. They're kind of sad that we took
Smuggling
it out.
when it was done right was good.
Yeah.
It's just the only trouble is it was kind of few and far between.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the smuggling was just so that you could play the game, and that's not really what we were going for.
It was just it was like one of those things that very much set it apart from RS3 and stuff. So it's a shame to get rid of, but completely understand why it had become a chore. And
There's plenty of other things we can do.
And we've
with
talked about
DarkScape,
adding smuggling back in different ways and stuff like that. We've talked a little bit about that.
and we still have the risk zones as well. So with your GE taxes as well. So if you go to the more dangerous areas, you can still getting a benefit from that.
Yeah.
But,
You can still buy. You just kind of get hit by selling low.
yeah.
So
But
it's
that's the for the safety of the guards as well. So.
Yeah.
And I think you touched on the GE taxes there. I think beforehand a lot of people, I think it's gone a bit quiet on that front, on people wanting to move. I think now that you can buy from anywhere and it doesn't affect you, but you only want to go sell.
Sell high.
Means you want to go high, yeah.
Yep.
Like for like 10% at like RDGE, like that's not too much, and people are happy with that, and it's brought in some more activity to the high risk one as well. So I think that's
really
okay. We'll still continue to monitor it there, but we've got no plans to make changes straight away with that. Anything else on the removal smuggling anyone wants to mention?
I thought you did a nice. So I kind of stepped away for a while. Watching the way it was put together was quite nice. A lot of people are commenting on the fact that there's still the 3 tabs in the bank.
This was difficult. So strictly speaking, they are still 3 banks, but you can access them from everywhere.
Yeah.
It was a case. So we talked a fair bit about last week how currently development wise, Mod Pi is on it and Mod Hunter is, but he's on holiday for 3 weeks. So therefore, he had 1 week to do all these changes.
Less than 1 week. He had like 3 or 4 days to do all of these changes, and rewriting a bank
tested.
is not
It's a scary thing.
It was very much done like the MVP, the minimum viable product, to get that done, and it is very much something we want to smarten up the usability and
the first time he comes back, it's like about that bank.
we need some tabs.
So it's definitely something that we're going to be going back to and improving on. Don't worry about that, because there's some little frustrations about not being able to drag between them and stuff like that. You have to withdraw and then enter again and stuff, but it is something that
we can definitely work
we got
on.
in so that it's done, sort of thing. Okay, so the next thing was lots of people kind of like unsure why we made the change we did to Salamanders. They felt like a different change was needed. I've seen various ones suggested. Can you explain why you went with the change?
Okay, so for the Salamanders, we kind of went for something different. So you could, the problem with Salamanders is the weapon itself is really easily gained and in large quantities. So you can't just stick the weapon price up because people have tons of them. So we kind of went at a different angle for this. So we're like, I know, let's have the weapon really, really cheap, but the ammunition really expensive. So we just basically lowered the amount of tar that you could make so that, you know, once everything's come out the wash, it's actually a really expensive thing to use. However, the weapon itself is actually quite cheap. So if you just take a few tar with you, then it is kind of a welfare weapon, but uses a different mechanic to kind of make it expensive to use.
And it means we don't have to nerf the weapon itself. So if
Yeah.
you've already got one, then you're not really
Which is a
losing
nice
out
thing
in
to
that
not have
sense.
to do,
Yeah.
is to nerf a weapon. Like, just give it this niche of, yeah, it's cheap, but the ammo is really expensive.
So this isn't an immediately noticeable change.
No.
It's something we'll need to give it a few weeks and see how
Yeah,
it
we
is
need to
sort of
let
thing.
basically the existing tar kind of wash out of the economy, and then have a look at this. Have a look how it's affected the prices after then.
Cool.
Worst case, we can always tweak it back up again if need be.
Yeah.
But that's to be addressed if we come to it.
Cool. And then the final point I want to cover with the update was the Drake lols. Maybe Mods Connor kind of explain.
I can just apologise. Yeah, so I thought it'd be funny to try and make a little nest of baby drakes and little juvenile drakes running around, and then
Yeah, I
the big
think it's cool.
guys. Yeah, so just threw them together and put them in the game.
As
Let
you
them
do.
hit a couple of things. And I'll get back to that later on. I'll put some, I'll balance out the
You
damage.
did it during,
Oh,
you did it during your TAP project. So for
Yeah.
those who don't know, that's our Thursday all-day personal project. So every other week we get a day to kind of do what we want. It's like within reason. Like you can work on your current project, add a bit more to it, or maybe train up to learn something else. Do something completely different that you want to do. Like in the case here, just you were like,
knock
I
together a
want to do
couple of
something nice
drakes.
for DarkScape, put a mob in sort of thing.
Yeah, I didn't get it finished. Accidentally had it in the same stream as all of the bank
The
changes.
things that we wanted to release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, we can grab all that because that's all tested and fine. This is
Why didn't you test my drakes?
yeah.
Didn't need they were there.
So it was just that like half an hour after the game update on Monday,
Yeah,
where it's
it was
just
just
like,
It's like,
why is there a Drake in the wilderness?
what is this? And then we're like, yeah, why are they?
I know why
Fortunately,
there
you
is.
didn't put the drop table on them yet.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I hadn't finished figuring out how much damage they should do. I mean, I had it at one point where the babies were like, they had 60 health. You could just stand in the middle and wipe
With
them out.
reflect on.
Yeah, but they were spawning constantly. Like they just keep trickling back in. So you just stand in the middle of this nest of baby drakes and ruin them. That was hilarious.
So could we perhaps see some
Best possible prayer
improvements to the
training
Drakes?
using Bone Crusher.
Well, they can't get Bone Crush at the moment. So.
Oh yeah, I gave it to myself. It was funny. Yeah, we should do some things.
Well, I'm
does it-
looking forward, like, as far as I'm concerned, this is what you do on tap days now.
I just add a
Is
couple more.
every
things.
2 weeks, these drakes get better and better.
They'll do some new stuff.
In
Got
a year, they'd be impossible to kill.
I don't know. I've seen
They
a
do
couple
all
of
the
things. I jumped in to see what people were up to. I'm watching people trying to run from the lodestone in the wilderness into the GE. Drakes are just ruining loads of people.
That's great.
They're usually carrying nothing. You come across this massive drake in the middle of the wilderness.
I've seen also like people doing the wilderness warbands and then just being like drakes are trolling them, like, just flying in there and like hindering progress and stuff. Okay, there's enough on that. We'll move on to some player questions now. As I said, if you've got any further questions about any of the stuff we did with the last game update, anything else, feel free to ask in the chat and we'll try and answer them. I think the players behind us are having a bit of fun over here with flowers and flames and stuff, so discovered where we
approve of
are.
this.
All right, cool. So the first little section I'm going to kind of be about the future of DarkScape. So I'll start with Mercy's question, which is, I thought the concept of this game was trust no one, everyone for themselves. So why is the game shifting to be more clan-based? Anyone want to pick that up?
I think it's a strong way to go. It's a kind of a differentiator. The other RuneScape titles that we have out cater to you being very solo focused. DarkScape has I mean, it's interesting. Yeah, we don't want people to trust anybody. And one of the key things of clans, that we were discussing the clan bank, and I think this is a nice place to talk about where trust would be. So you have a team of people that you trust, right? You have friends. You can't deny that you have friends. And so you've been playing with some guy, and he's been hanging around with you. You formed a small clan. You're storing some stuff in a clan bank, and then that guy's a jerk, and he steals all your stuff off the clan bank and leaves the clan. Like, you still can't trust anybody.
Yeah.
But we still want to encourage that kind of group play. Like, you have to work together to do what you need to do, but that doesn't mean that after you finish doing everything, you can't just
stab them in the back
and steal all their stuff.
Like it.
Yeah, I think I definitely feel like there's room for groups and clans and stuff like that. And some big things that we can do is like doing big group stuff, but at the same time we will look at just like solo stuff as well, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it is the case that a clan can own the town, but a solo person can own a shop or something like that. I don't know. But maybe there's some possibilities there and stuff. But I don't. Yeah. Have we put actually trust no one, everyone for themselves somewhere on the website?
I think we
or something?
put trust no one somewhere.
Maybe.
I think
so.
I did quickly look at websites saying, is that like a tagline? And there's no like immediate.
It's not really a
but-
tagline. It's just like one of the welcome messages is be careful who you trust.
Right. Yeah.
But that's not saying don't trust anyone.
Yeah. But no,
But
I definitely I would recommend having a mate to roam around with. It's there is a bit of safety in numbers for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So Kai 299, who I think might be our friend Archie Time.
Archie
I'm not
time.
sure at all. Have you considered not doing experimental updates? I don't think people like things being experimental, and it might be another reason people get pushed away from DarkScape.
Barricades is a perfect example of here's an experiment, just throw it out there, and everyone's like, oh, this is awesome.
You're not always going to win.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, the hit rate on experimental updates, if we had above 50%, we'd be like, we are awesome people.
Yeah. I mean, the key thing about that is we don't want to be afraid to try new things and to try and go out there. The biggest reason we say experimental is that we're also willing to say that we're wrong.
Yeah.
I think the bank stuff is is like a great example of that. We launched with that thinking that would be a strong feature of the game. Smuggling and traveling and trying to ambush people.
I think it definitely was a strong feature at the very start of the game when everyone's at a lower level and stuff, and then moving into those places and stuff. But
so we're hoping to see it as they started transferring through, but just didn't see it come through the way we wanted to, and we're happy. Like, we'll take that out.
Yeah,
Happy
I mean,
is a
like, I
strong
think
word.
part of the problem with like smuggling and stuff, I was telling Pi earlier on today that I think because we did take it, we've taken RS3 obviously, and then we've applied the rule set and stuff like that. But if we had kind of started from scratch, we would have done more to make, like, I'm a low level player, therefore I'm in the low threat zone, and I have no reason to go into high threat zones at this stage until I've reached that level where I move into the mid threat area, and then I reach a certain stage where I move into high threat area. But because we've taken RS3 and like we've got skilling, we moved some resources around, but we didn't have a lot of time to do that stuff.
Yeah, like,
we've got quests and stuff. We immediately, like, one of the biggest things you want to do as a new player is to go do waterfall quest. But that immediately pushes you into mid threat area. You need to do some smuggling and stuff like that.
RuneScape differs itself from other MMOs in that it doesn't really do the whole area-based progression thing. Which means doing area-based threat zones and how like deep do you want to go. It doesn't. They kind of fight each other. But at the same time, I could counter that by saying you're really only going to know to do waterfall quest if you've played the game before. So I'd argue that progression-wise, you're further, even though your levels are low, you're further on it through the game.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
We do have it to some degree. Elf quests is probably a good example, because the skill barriers are going up and up and up, and it's kind of going into Tyrannon and then eventually Elf C. Not that you can get there yet, but
well, I think with the areas that we did make low, mid, and high, for instance, like I'm not sure I could change them to make them any better.
Indeed.
Potentially just remove mid and just have low and high. Is the only other thing that I would muse on. But in terms of the areas we chose, I don't think we could have chosen better boundaries in terms of where you go through the game.
Oh, definitely not. I think.
and Wilderness for sure already has a reputation for being dangerous.
I do like the dark skies. It's good touch.
Yeah, definitely. And then Cheeky Meme asks, how much of a priority is raidable dungeoneering, and do you have an ETA at all? We definitely don't have an ETA.
No.
I would say some of you might not like this, but for me, like raidable dungeoneering is one of these things that earlier on, I was thinking it was quite high, but over time it keeps on moving back and back. Beforehand, we talked about, okay, 3 big things that we want to do is the combat, dungeoneering, and then sculling system. But now I definitely think sculling system is well above a priority than the dungeoneering, just because it's a major feature of DarkScape that you encounter everywhere you go. I think a lot of it is we're not going in the same direction as RS3. We're taking DarkScape in a different direction, and I feel like there's a lot of requests come in. Is essentially there's this feature, there's this thing in RS3. Can we have it in DarkScape? And just because something is in RS3, I don't think that means it should go into DarkScape.
No.
We're taking it a different direction.
Having a look at the chat, like you see comments like, we needed dungeoneering to get access to Elf City, and that kind of harks back to what you're saying. If you need, you don't need dungeoneering to have access to Elf City. We can, in theory.
We can just remove
We could,
that.
yeah.
I mean,
But-
we could remove the dungeoneering requirement from Plague's End, and then instantaneously removes that.
But at the same time, we don't necessarily need Elf City in DarkScape.
Or we could put in Elf City. I mean, Elf City and DarkScape doesn't necessarily, isn't the same as Elf City and RuneScape. I'm going to flat out say it is not the same as Elf City and RuneScape.
Yeah, the reason why people ask for it is because they know that there's a lot of high-level training there that is really, really good training. I mean, like, mining was like one of my first 99s, because as soon as I got it to 89, then I just set in stone the rest of it, It's, but I mean, like, we completely changed some of the stuff. So I think there's a lot of requests that come in because people want stuff that's in RS3, but in my mind, like, RS3 is going in that direction and we're going in that direction. We obviously started off with a copy of what was in RS3 at the time, and we started development, but we're going in a different direction.
And there's so much in Elf City that probably wouldn't suit DarkScape. Anyway, if you're sat there with Seren Stones, what incentive do I have to go kill that guy? He's not going to drop anything. Maybe he's got a pickaxe, but he's just going to protect that. So we probably have to change that, like pickpocketing the elves.
We'd have to redesign a lot of Elf City to be DarkScape.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you walk in and there's just slaughtered elves everywhere.
Well,
that's quite funny at the
to be
minute
honest with
because
you, at the minute the elves are all aggressive.
Yeah,
So you walk around and they're just like, "What are you doing here?"
you get anywhere near Iowa or Kadan and you just get absolutely annihilated right now.
Yeah. But I mean, like, as we said, like, I think the biggest thing is, like, we are going in a different direction with DarkScape. That's what we're looking to do. That's why we do experiments and stuff. Not all of them work, but that's where we're going, sort of thing. I mean, it's a kind of big thing to take away, really. And so, and that's why, like, we were asking last week, and we're still asking, if you've got any cool ideas of stuff to experiment with, stuff to do make it a different game and stuff like that, then please let us know.
Yeah, I think one of my favourite things to play around with at the moment is the idea of, like, basically making PKing skilling, like you had with the divination idea. Just, like, level up my PKing. Like, someone said it in the chat as well. Like, I think it's a good thing for us to do. So, like, because we've taken RuneScape as a base, but we want more about the killing, less skilling is killing, you know. I think that's somewhere we could go. It would be quite cool.
Yeah, cool. Okay, then. The next section I'm going to talk about is combat changes. So this is going to be very much Pi talking all the stuff. So Domin Win asks, can the Dragonfire shield be buffed to bring it back to its former glory? The highest it can hit is 75, where it used to be able to do 250s. It's currently an item that's exclusively sold to general stores. Fixing it up could prove very beneficial.
Yeah, certainly I can have a look at the fire blast that expels it, and have a look at that damage. You've got to keep in mind that it's actually quite easy to get with QBD now. So it used to, when it used to do the 250s, it was actually an incredibly rare item. It's no longer the case, which you kind of have to sync that one. But I will definitely look at it, see where it is, see how many are in game, and kind of put the damage where it kind of needs to be.
Cool, nice one. Cheeky Meme asks, what are your thoughts on keeping the tier 75 nerfs for PvP, but reverting them for PvM in order to give the top tier equipment a use?
So this is one of my gripes. And I've done enough of it in the combat system with the combat rework and I'm looking at stat screens and I'm hating it, is the whole, okay, we're going to have this system for PvM and this system for PvP. And what it does is it just kind of splits the thing into two combat systems and two games, to the point where, depending on what you're doing, you're in a completely different mindset. I'd rather have one system and scale the NPCs so that you're using one system. Certainly the problem at the moment with the tier 75 nerf is I haven't nerfed any of the HP pools of monsters.
Right.
So the fact that your extra damage is nerfed, that's where it's coming from. The accuracy and defense, those things are scaled with each other. Like nothing interesting has happened there. You're just fighting with the same numbers. But that's something that we should look at, especially post. I believe I've already stated post combat changes. I will look at things like bosses and mobs, etc. Especially their health pools is one of the things I will definitely look at.
Yeah, cool, nice one. Frozzy asks, can we see short bows be given their old speed back? Rapid in brackets there. Long bows can be what current short bows are. Shield bows are pretty useless as a side note, and I dearly miss the short bow two-hand combo of pre-EOC.
They should be soon, right?
All I'm going to say is sharp arrows.
Sharp arrows.
That's what I'm going to say.
That's all he's going to say. Zamochi, I'm going to say his name is. Why did you decide on leaving hybrid armor the same? If accuracy penalties are going to be removed or severely nerfed, what good is hybrid armor?
I don't believe I have decided that yet. But I was musing it over with people today, and basically I can probably get rid of those 15 levels and just not have it any of the side effects that we're planning on armor. So I was stating tomorrow I've got a big meeting with the Combat Council to kind of solidify what we're doing with armor, because it is a big problem with the diminished combat triangle that you have no incentivization to wear the right armor for your style, or the bigger problem being, okay, I need 3 sets of armor because I want to do this, this, and this. So it's more about armor, kind of different types of armor. So melee armor, ranged armor, and magic armor. I want all of these because of this reason. And the Combat Council is going to have a big brainstorm tomorrow to solidify that, because we've got some initial plans. I believe I said them in the last stream, but we're going to be spitballing and solidifying that tomorrow.
Cool, nice one.
Yeah, it'll probably be the case that hybrid doesn't have those, I guess.
Yeah,
It would just
I'm
be flat armor.
thinking just flat armor and doesn't have any
But then
side effects.
but then even the diminished stuff, there's just nothing at all. It's just
Yeah, I definitely don't want it to get to a state whereby everyone's just wearing hybrid armor because of its ease to get.
Yep, cool. Sectori asks, will you make a way that rewards killing one itemers?
So, to be honest with you, the way in which I'm going with this, it's not necessarily rewarding killing one itemers, it's more allowing you to spot them like flies. They're an annoyance, they should be treated as an annoyance, and they should be dealt with as an annoyance.
So basically,
It's a big
you're
old
going to be
fly
wearing
right?
full-on armor.
If you're wearing
it's gonna be
armor,
easier to
they're
kill
going to be
one
tickling
items.
you, and you're going to be giving them a backhand, basically.
Cool, nice one. Zepith Darknessy, should we be expecting armor / shield buffs / changes to compete with the relative safety of two-handed weapons in addition to the weapon changes in the combat update? Is that kind of just what we said there?
Can you reiterate that? I don't think I took in that full sentence.
Yeah. Should we be expecting armor, shield buffs, or changes to compete with the relative safety of two-handed weapons in addition to the weapon changes in the combat update? That's kind of what we just discussed. Kai 299 asks, could smoke and shadow spells on ancients get their old effects back? They were much better than they are now. So shadow had lowers attack level to 15%, and smoke had the chance to apply poison.
Yeah, I can certainly readdress those.
Yeah.
In my big long list of things to redesign.
You done yet?
Cool. And I'm Merlin. Can some of the set armor bonuses being implemented buff summoning familiar damage? For balancing, this could be at the cost of the player's damage output. It would welcome another style of combat into the viable playing field.
Potentially. I wouldn't say for version 1, but especially for when we get into the more specific armors do these things, like having a summoning tank armor would be quite interesting.
Like
It does mean we have a little bit more variety that way.
Yeah.
Be pretty cool. All right, nice one. Any other kind of combat ones in there? Not really. Okay then, that was good. Thank you. next batch are things that are kind of to do with sculling and the combat zones. So I've kind of got like two, I think, like differing opinions here. So Jimbo 733 asks, update on multi-combat zones. And then Swifty McFisty says, 1v1s are some of the most fun PvP out there, but they're hard to find right now. Can we make certain locations like Canifist, Renovance, or Slayer Tower non-multi, but make it so you are scolded for going there no matter what? PvP is awesome until a 7-man strong guild gets wind of you being there, and then it's all over.
I certainly think, in reference to high, I think it's definitely worth looking at something. So we're talking about transitioning to more of a clans type game, for instance. So the current sculling system, whereby if you're sculled it's multi, otherwise it's single, doesn't really support that. So you've got a clan going around, but unless everyone else is sculled, the clan can't really protect each other. And I think the current system works quite well for low in that it kind of protects you and shields you, but in high and potentially mid, I think we should look into something a little bit less babying.
I mean, like my personal opinion is that this is a PvP game everywhere, and it frustrates me when there's something in there that doesn't allow me to attack someone.
Yeah.
It's a PvP game. I expect, as a kind of, it's a modern game because it's new, I expect to be able to attack anyone. So I haven't like done a lot of PvP in the past. I don't have a history with it, so I'm not so familiar with like these solo like non-multi ways and stuff like that. Just as a player, I'm playing a PvP game. I expect to be able to attack everyone. My personal thing then would be that you should be able to tackle everywhere. But maybe we do add in some like little podiums like near Edgefield and some other places that if you stand on it, then it's just single way. So it's a nice little thing because
I think
you could say you do single way in Duel Arena, but Duel Arena is like you have to go through all the trouble of getting into it, and it's.
It might even be worth making a Duel Arena mode where you just automatically stake everything you're wearing.
Some sort of a duel anywhere.
Stake everything.
Yeah, or that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, that's my personal opinion.
It sounds like he just wants DMs. So.
Yeah, like let's not beat around the bush. 1v1, a 1v1 area historically in our game has proven very very popular.
Yeah.
We don't want to be RuneScape, but at the same time, if you talk about a PvP thing that's been,
I think we need to I think the idea of having little podiums it even means that you get a kind of a minor spectator element to it. Like, it's interesting that you run past. You don't have to go to the Duel Arena. We just have these things popping up all over the place. Yeah. You don't have to go through the full effort of staking and everything. You can just pick a fight.
Yeah, it's just multi-way, and then you just know that this area is distinguished as a single.
And you don't even have to go looking for fights. There's just a guy on the podium and say, "All right, let's go. Cool, let's go."
Yeah,
2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Any other thoughts or anything about combat zones? No? Cool.
Covers it, I think.
I think it's probably stuff that we'll try out. We'll do some changes, see how it goes down, and make some more constantly monitor stuff. Where was I? Mix Pickle asks, can you please change the skull system? I shouldn't be attackable by 5 people when I attack someone. I can't solo PK while risking more than 50k because a group of people that risk 5k salamanders. So that's kind of just what we're kind of talking about again. So we should say that we are changing the sculling system. It's on our list of things to do.
Yeah.
Follows up after combat.
That's the bounty system.
Yeah. Sculling and bounty.
I think it's a good change.
Yeah. Yeah, and as we said earlier on, that's kind of moved up our priority list. It's the thing after combat that we want to do. Okay, now move on. So the next section is kind of deployables. So cool. Deployables being mainly our barricades that we added, and then Terraflux has a few issues with barricades. So I'll just list them and discuss them. So first of all, barricades needs a bit of nerfs. Here's the problems I see. So number 1, instant deploy time. You have no warning when someone is setting up a barricade to your only exit. And once you have it burned down, they can immediately put another one up. Thoughts on that? So some sort of like deploy time.
This is something I saw quite a lot because I used to run a Castle Wars clan. So the idea of, we used to call it pidcading back when pid was a thing, of, like you've got it down, but I can put it down faster than you can click to walk across. It's an interesting idea, just having like a quick 2-second interruptible setup time.
Yeah.
I want to play around with it. I wouldn't just do it because it's been raised as an issue. There is definitely an issue with melee in the definitely barricades are massively shaken up the melee meta. It's kind of like a hard counter to melee, which
it is kind of funny.
It's just
quite like it.
But, so I think something that melee could do to deal with that problem.
You're not putting that down.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So the next one was no skill requirements on placing barricades. You need fletching to make them, but when a level 3 can buy an elder barricade on the GE and deploy it, that seems broken. I have noticed, because I've been trolling players, I've been going on with my JMod and going to high risk and just putting barricades quickly around people and such. I have noticed that people seem to be taking quite some time to burn down my elder barricades. So I would kind of agree that
it would be interesting
to
see the prices of them, because if a level 3 has to spend quite a lot of money.
Well, we do have the barricade shops where you can buy them.
It only goes up to Maple though, doesn't it?
Does it? All right.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see, like, if it harbours a market for them, then I don't think that's such a bad thing, personally. However, if we don't really have a market, as in like this guy's making elder barricades, that's cool. He's like supplying the lower levels. Then I think we should.
If you're thinking about the setup time, you could start playing into that, like not requiring a level, but your setup time is influenced by your level. So if you're a low level and you've bought high level barricades, that's fine once they're up because they'll block, that's fine, but it's going to take you 10-15 seconds to actually put it in place, and maybe something like that.
We certainly got that sort of thing with the burning it down in terms of the fire making.
Cool. And the third point was takes too long to burn them, especially when in combat. So we kind of just mentioned it.
Well, that's something that's very tweakable. It does percentage of damage, so upping and lowering that percentage, or just lowering the health pool, for instance.
Yeah. Cool. I saw a suggestion in the chat there that's about making a barricade a clan type, so your clan mates can jump over your own ones. I'm not too sure about that, because we're also talking about you're a big favour of gates. Gates.
Yeah, we should totally have gates. I'm going to close off. Well, that worked with smuggling. Without smuggling, that is pointless.
Well,
but you block off the entry.
You're still, as a clan, funneling people through an area or something like that. But maybe.
I want to build a barricade wall in front of Falador with a gate.
Very much a barricade should stop everyone, apart from guards, who just instantly destroy them.
Well, they only destroy them if they get in their way.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, I noticed that. I stopped trying to troll on the low-level banks. I just moved to high risk because of that.
How about if guards can go through the gates? If I blocked off all entries to the GE,
the guards destroy them.
Except one was a gate. Would he find his way in the gate? Yeah. And only my clan can go through the gate, and my friends and myself.
Until somebody breaks it down.
Until someone breaks it down.
Cool. Phoenix 6570 asks, why were the barricade shops removed? Do you have any plans to bring them back? So I noticed when I saw that question before, I checked, and at least in Baroque, they're still there. Someone mentioned they were definitely gone, so I don't know.
What happened there.
But
like, did we have a week when they weren't there or something? Yeah. But I definitely, like, when I read that question, I logged in and was like, yep, he's still there.
They're there, so do check. So where are they located? There's the one in Baroque, which is opposite the museum.
Yeah.
And then there's ones in mid and high, is there?
Is there? You'd have to ask the dev that made it.
Mod Hunter not here to ask. I've just been getting them from Baroque.
I can look for them. And
but yeah, they should be there. Do let us know if they go disappearing again. They're not meant to. Nicholas asks, was curious about deployables. Would it be possible to implement a storage chest with, say, 5 to 10 slots that would degrade after 20 minutes and be destroyable? It would have the ability to be locked and picked. I was thinking this so you could team up with your friends and have them use it as a kind of drop chest.
I kind of like this, like a deployable storage.
It's kind of like a mini bank.
Yeah.
But it doesn't go to your bank. You've got obviously putting stuff in there for a short amount of time and then
grabbing it out.
Taking it back out.
You can like store food in there and then.
I kind of like that, especially with the tie-in with thieving. So like you could create an elder thing that requires a high level of thieving, but other people can come along. But like you've just shoved a bunch of food in there, so you're about to do a trip, and then someone comes along and just kind of steals all your food.
Put traps in there as well, so they just open it up and it just explodes in their face.
It sounds quite cool.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, there's potentially some stuff there that we could look at. Cool. Okay, next section. How are we doing for time? Oh, we're all right. Next section is about minigames. So Dreadsoul Unmir asks, any plans on making minigames playable with current DarkScape populations, or barring that, having the rewards available through other means? So I think I've talked about in a previous stream, I saw some other people kind of quoting me, that I'm not really sure, it's kind of looping back to what we were talking about earlier, I'm not really sure like some of the minigames are really built for DarkScape. They're there because we had them there, but I kind of feel like the non-PvP ones aren't really a suitable thing. And I'm not saying that means you won't ever be able to get the rewards and stuff. Like we can make rewards through some other sort of means.
The game shouldn't focus on minigames.
Yeah.
The surface world should be your minigame.
Yeah.
And one of the main reasons was it's all safe death everywhere, and it's
Yeah.
that's okay for practice, but
Yeah, I do think there's like value in a way to safely learn to defend yourself in PK, but not to a massive extent, especially not in DarkScape. Like it's basically just training wheels and then go out and be a big boy.
Yeah. So this is something we could probably see that in the Thalashop, however it's pronounced, we could see like being removed, or the shop could be accessed through other means. Like we talked about the player suggestion for a smuggling D&D, where you kind of start off in Al-Qarid and then the further across the world you
no reason
smuggle
why
the
we
items,
couldn't
the more
like
points you
take
get
the
or something
Thala
like that.
shop and you could buy the things from the Thala shop using PvP currency.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, like everybody always drops some form of a PvP currency.
It would just be a variable type thing
Well,
or something.
not necessarily, because that's incredibly farmable, but like some kind of
If you had like an ELO ranking system or something, you kill someone above you or
running
something.
under the system that nobody could see.
If only we had one of those.
Okay. And then, so kind of like similar things, I'll just touch on the hero asking any limited edition offers coming to the Thala shop. So, like, we're not really focused on it at the moment.
No,
so there's
we're
no
not
real,
focusing on the AFK
we
shop.
have no plans to it. And Paladin, any thoughts on
Blunt.
adding treasure hunter skill outfits to minigames, D&Ds? No current plans. Again, like it's
No, like
just
in
because
terms of
it's stuff
D&Ds,
that's
like we're thinking like smuggling D&D sounds awesome.
but just because
again,
like
we want to focus
yeah.
PvP on it as well.
Yeah, so everything in DarkScape needs to have the DarkScape twist to it.
Yeah.
Or,
cool. Okay. Then just moving on to other questions really then. So Swifty McFisty asking, any chance of moving the volcano lodestone into the center of the volcano for convenience? So that's the wilderness one. Obviously we now have inside the volcano crater area, you kind of got the two banks, the two Gs. If we moved it into the middle,
Need
do
to
you think
rebuild
that's-
the world map.
right.
The entire world map.
Well, no. It still marks them as having a banker and a G in each of those locations.
Oh,
Right.
this problem
Forgot
again.
about
All right, yeah,
Yeah.
that. Potentially, yeah. So I was kind of seesawing when I heard people are getting trolled, but then when they're moving from that lodestone to the G, well, they don't have any wealth on them, so we're not really gaining anything from that distance.
Can we straw poll that? Maybe?
Yeah.
As a straw poll? Is you alright with that, John?
Yeah, just give me.
Yeah, he needs a bit of time because we just jumped on him with that, but
Yeah.
we'll put a straw poll in there about moving it.
What was the question?
So move the wilderness lodestone into the center of the volcano, yes or no? So as John works on that, we'll move on with questions, so we'll come back to your answers. So Cheeky Meme asking, what is your verdict on re-raising the rune item ALC prices? So this is something I discussed with our analytics team, and as we've been saying, we've been monitoring all our changes that we've done. We've set out from the very beginning saying that we don't want to be in the same issue that RS3 and old school do, where your economy
you just
is
get mass injection.
is
of gold.
ruined within like
We want our gold
months,
to be worth.
Yeah,
That's
so
a lot
that's
more.
something we set about. So that's why we've got like GE tax. That's why we've removed high ALC. That we make big changes, and I know people get upset by them because I think for the most part, having played RS3 and old school, you know that's like, oh, that's how you make your money.
Wow.
I think we put it in the middle of the wall. Yeah.
That's
Well,
how you
not in
make
the
your
middle,
money.
There's a giant sword there, but
That's how you make your money. And so when that's your money making method.
yeah.
That's what you go to, and then you see that kind of be nerfed, and you're like, but there are other methods to get there. So that's why we've kind of gone and set out with these changes. But spoken to our analytics team, and they said that we can re-raise the out prices for rune items back up again.
Yes, so-
Probably not to the price that they were, but just a little bit less.
Better than what they are
And
now.
then
Yeah.
we'll continue to monitor, and we may readjust still based on like how it goes.
How it
But
goes, yeah.
we are looking to raise them back up again, and we're not bringing back. We're still keeping the low level ALK. Like we're
Yeah,
not bringing
so
back
if you,
high
if you
ALK.
want a high elk, you're still locked behind the Lumbridge achievement ring
Yeah.
and 30 a day,
Yeah.
which isn't terrible, to be
Yeah.
honest.
So we'll see how that goes, but we'll make those changes. Okay. And Hero asking, since Premier Club is coming 30th November, could it give something cosmetic to DarkScape like old vanity items or extra preset slots? So the Premier Club, for those who don't know what it is, it's a kind of like a big membership package for RS3. You can buy either 3 months, 6 months, or a full year's worth, get all the membership, and you get a number of perks for signing up for all that membership ahead of time. That is an RS3 package. It is not something for DarkScape. As with all membership, if you buy membership, you then receive member benefits in any of the RuneScape games. But that package is very much for RS3, and therefore, if you do buy that, do not expect any additional perks in DarkScape. It's our official line on that.
Put more Shadow Drakes in.
More Shadow Drake. No, you're getting that for free from O'Connor. He's committed to it now. Okay. Cheeky Meme. Have you considered modifying quest-gated transport like gliders and fairy rings so that they are free to use if the teleport takes you into the higher risk area, but still costs to go lower?
Potentially, I mean, we've been talking about these quite a bit. We've been kind of going 50-50, but don't really want to. So I was thinking, like, for instance, right? So a big one is the Mortmire fungi cost to use the fairy rings.
Yeah, we have questions
I
about
think
that
a
as
lot
well.
of the big frustration is getting stuck. I think if we only charged on the way out of Zenaris, that would fix that problem. For instance, in terms of them not being needed, the only reason why they're still in is because it kind of focuses how people are moving around the world. So if something has a higher cost to you using it, you're less likely to use it, and it kind of focuses it in. I think we should do a bit more of a focused look on that, and then come to a decision as to whether or not what we wanted from it is what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
And
can
if
do that.
not, then it's just another barrier. So
Cool. I didn't really officially address the poll, but it was very much in favour of moving it. So I expect we will see that.
It's like
the
95% or something.
wilderness lodestone into the volcano. Something's happened with our camera. We moved somehow.
We're in the sky.
Okay.
hand there.
Got some
Lol
wires there
Jumper. So this is our Araxor killer. Any chance for Araxor engage cap to be lowered? 150 or 100% at least, possibly. I know we don't have tier 90s yet, but 100% Araxor is much tougher than 300% RS3.
The enrage timer. Yeah, I'll look at that when I readdress the.
After you've done the combat changes,
when
look at
I
health pools and
readdress the
stuff.
HP
Yeah.
pools, etc. On top of that, I am enjoying watching Lol Jumper take down the bosses. They got down Rots this week,
Yeah.
so congrats to them.
Yeah, it's more challenging. That's great.
Come on, where's Rago?
They're a bit
That's all I'm gonna
easy
say,
now.
like,
They're a bit easy in RS3, so
yeah. I'm
It's
enjoying
good that they're
watching
tougher.
like the first people to get them down with the enhanced difficulty.
yeah.
So I'm not really in a rush whilst people are still trying to get it down with
Yeah.
the.
Yeah.
Maybe we should make
Now-
them harder.
Well, now we've got rots, we've got provoke shields. There's no reason not to do Rago
Well,
now.
yeah, like if you're able to do a Raxor and Rots, you've pretty much unlocked everything you need to do a
Pretty
Raxor,
much, yeah.
Rago with Legacy. But yeah, certainly post the combat changes, then I'll look at these, look at the difficulty of PVM because it's a constant issue that comes up. So it's one that should be addressed.
Cool.
I'll
Some
go
questions from the chat. So Blair FireX, will the Drakes drop D'hide? I don't think we know that yet, what they're going to drop.
Drake-hide.
Anti the coolest.
Oh, we should make Drakehide and no armor for
And the coolest. If smuggling was removed, why is the bank still divided into 3? It's not.
Well,
You can
strictly
access
speaking,
all
it
the
is,
other
yeah.
tabs within the bank. It's just, it looks like they're still split into 3. It's just because we only had less than a week to do
It will change.
to make the change. We will improve the functionality and the usability in the future. Disheartened asks, any chance of changing the clan homeworld list so that it lists worlds 200 plus?
Oh, this is for the banner, I guess, and the
Yeah. Should be able to do
maybe.
that.
Yeah,
we'll
I'll
take
have
a
a
look at that. Werty, would you consider giving us an objective just like the old bounty hunter? Yeah, we're
Or bounty systems.
bounty system with a sculling system
Yeah.
that we'll do later after the combat. Digital Mayhem, any update on the demonic skull? It's something we said we'd like to add, but
like to add,
it's
and
not
I'd like to add
priority.
it to a lot more
We talked
skills.
about
Things,
agility
yeah.
and stuff, didn't
Basically,
we?
adding risk to skilling, giving
Yeah.
you faster XP rates.
Mhm.
So if you're carrying, just give people reasons to kill you, really.
Yep.
The Ring of Death definitely works in PVM deaths. I checked it out earlier.
Cool. Okay, some other questions. I live with Dogecoin, a living rock creature nerf. I know they are supposed to be hard, but they seem a bit overkill. I'm still very much of the opinion that it's great having a very difficult area.
To skill in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Plus, that's getting your rocktails, which is your top tier food, barring ports.
Maybe
Which
it's,
requires rocktails.
Yeah, exactly.
maybe it's something like that's one of those areas.
I think
is
the
for a
big
clan
problem
to go
is it
into or
doesn't
something.
have World 84.
Mhm.
I think it's 84 or 86. I think it's
84,
84,
yeah.
It doesn't have World 84 equivalent on
Where
DarkScape,
everyone just jumps
where
in,
everyone
yeah.
just kills them anyway.
Yeah, you got no back.
I mean, I think people get them as Slayer tasks as well, which annoys them because they can only kill a few at a time. But I
Long
kind
way
of
to
like
go
the
as well.
idea that there's a very difficult area. And I wouldn't say it's anywhere near the top of our
Think of
priority
the
list.
bank you can make on those living minerals.
PM Me Your Church asks, could we get the ability to store mushrooms in the fairy ring network? So you just mentioned that a
Yeah,
little
I
while
think-
ago. So
I
yeah,
think
we'll be
that's-
looking at that.
That's a cool thing to do if we decide on saying, yes, we are keeping them because they're doing the thing that we want them to do.
Yeah.
Dominwin, can we get more combat familiars so that do damage or provide bonuses like Nihils and Steel Titan from things like Shadow Drakes and other pets?
In the long run, potentially.
Yeah.
And we rebalanced all of Summoning Familiars at the end of 2013 as well.
Yeah.
So they should all be pretty
They should be
good.
pretty good, yeah.
Kai 299, can you disable using the bank when in combat? It's kind of annoying that a player can skull on me and then deposit all items instantly.
I think that's kind of a funky update. Like, that's one that I'd do as an experiment.
Yeah. Just say this
just
week.
to see how it affects that. There's
Yeah.
a few places where there's not many things where you be in combat and you're banking other than PvP.
Well, I know, like, personally, like, Canifis has been, like, I've done the whole set of preset thing.
Yeah.
Someone's attacking me. I need to, therefore I'm in combat. I need to put my bank quickly.
Yeah, this
to
is
save
people
my
using
stuff.
what, empty presets, is it?
So this is,
Yeah.
so this is like if someone, if someone attacks you and then you start attacking them back and they're like, oh crap, I'm losing this, and they bank their items, feels really annoying. But at
Yeah.
the same time,
Yeah.
if someone's attacking you and you've got items you want to bank, like quickly, if you don't have like armors and you aren't prepared to fight
Be
back.
interesting to see what the community feels about that one, really.
Want to straw poll it?
No, I think I'm more interested to see what happens on the forums and Reddit.
Okay.
I want a more global feeling.
Okay, cool.
Bit more in-depth opinions as well.
Yeah. Not just a straight yes.
Not
no.
just, yeah.
Dominwin, can you fix the old version of skill capes? The override does not work. It's not, I've answered this a few times, it's not a priority of ours. We don't see getting top of the skills and stuff as like the big thing about DarkScape.
No.
And we're working on things like combat and sculling systems and stuff, and the look of
I
the
think
capes is not
if we
anywhere
ever
near the top
added
of our
a
list.
hidden elo system that suddenly got made public because we nailed how it worked, I think we'd potentially make that a live high score.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah,
we should
definitely.
probably look into that.
Yeah.
Araya Company, any chance of adding infinite stock to the NPCs which sell team capes?
Yes, sure. But we wouldn't. You can't do infinite stock, but we can have a really fast regen rate. So yeah, like I don't see any reason why you throttle team capes coming into the game.
Yeah.
Swifty McFisty, please make high threat a 4 times experience gain and also an increased drop chance of items / faster resource gathering.
I think
I'm going to
that's
say no to that. That's a
yeah.
bit OP.
It's a bit OP. It's the best stuff in the game as well.
Yeah.
We can certainly look at risk versus reward in those areas.
Cool.
Not
That
necessarily
is
OP.
me through the list of questions I took from the Reddit and the forums. So just to end it on, a few more questions to come from the chat. So I've got high scores ? We've just mentioned that maybe we'll have PvP high scores, but we're not looking to do
Skill
high
scores.
scores. We
No.
don't see that as the objective of DarkScape, and it's, as we've said from the very beginning, if you did do skill high scores, then that would make hit the objective, and that's not what we're trying to achieve.
Everybody's be skilling instead of PvP.
Would it be possible to fix hand cannon drop rate in the RS3? Drops are 100 per cannon second. Is that? I don't know. PC.
This is the ammo then, yeah.
We did buff the ammo, I swear.
We nerfed it originally because it was really easy to get hold of a really high level
we
weapon.
nerfed the hand cannon drop rate because it's, what is it in RS3? It's like
ridiculously common.
7k for a hand cannon. Like it's a tier
And it's
75
tier 70,
weapon. It's the
yeah.
equivalent of a ranged god sword. Like that's not cool. So we nerfed the drop rates for that explicit reason. But I think we over nerfed on the amount of ammunition that came into the game.
So we brought that back up.
So I believe we brought the amount that it dropped up.
It's a similar kind of situation with the Salamanders. So it's I don't know, maybe we need to look at how many shots are kicking around on GE and such.
Yeah, see how many is in game compared to the amount of hand cannons. Make sure that that's a self-sustainable thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Could we see client-only deployables where we can create things like PvP cannons that could be used behind barricades?
I think it's a nice idea.
I think it's a nice idea, especially like if you take over a town, having the ability to create like auto turrets to like protect your town and things would be quite cool. But
nice.
yeah, that's looking forward.
And then our final question is DarkScape exclusive clue rewards.
Maybe in the future.
Yeah,
What
there's
kind of stuff?
nothing
like,
pressing.
It's
not needed.
it's not that important
Yeah,
compared to what we've got going on. But
yeah.
there's no reason not to.
That is us for this week. I hope we gave you the answers you wanted, you were looking for. We answered your questions. As always, like we do look at Reddit, we do look at the forums, so do ask there. If you've got any other ones, we'll be back next week for more. Any final things to say? Anything you want to cover? No, just
keep playing and PKing, as
Yeah.
you said.
Oh, Jesus.
that's not what I said. The very first stream
No,
I said,
we're done.
we'll see you when we PK you. We're not doing that anymore. But just a quick note in terms of game updates, there won't be an update next week. As we said last week, with Mod Hunter away for 3 weeks, it's Mod Pi is our only developer on it at the moment. He's very busy on the combat update. So that is ready when it's ready. So that's likely to be the next update. We'll need to see, but don't expect anything for next week.
I think I hand modelled and created and configured 12 arrows today. I'm very impressed with myself.
Oh my God.
Nice.
What have we done?
Change warbands. Anything? Why do we
Nerf
warbands?
warbands, change warbands,
Nerf warbands, nerf warbands.
Nerf warbands.
Well, we'll have a look at what's
Maybe
coming
just have a look
in.
at it, yeah.
Yeah.
Give us a bit more feedback on what you want nerf from warbands.
Yeah, get on the
please,
forums.
and then
Tell us
I assume it's the
what
XP.
you'd like
Like
us to do.
Yeah.
the gold you get from warbands is quite high. However, in the global scale, it's minuscule. It's absolutely minuscule. The gold injection. It's 100k every 7 hours from a few people compared to things like
Yeah,
Alk,
because there's a
which
cap.
are-
There's a cap.
case that
There's a
it's
cap
just
on
so
supplies per
concentrated.
warband as well.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. We'll take a look. Give us
Yep.
your feedback.
Yeah.
Until next time, then. Goodbye.